Alright guys, we have a brand new EZA in Dokkan, the Super EZA, LR, Trunks, and Goten. We do have them rainbowed, I do have them level 10 links, and they are on a 220% lead. Unfortunately, not the brand new Gohan. However, that could change if I do manage to get him with my rainbow tickets. Only 2, but we'll see what happens. Now, in terms of links, one thing I've noticed immediately, I think on any team you run him on, even the brand new one, links is going to be somewhat of an issue. Here we only have 2 right now. The most you're going to get them with a good unit is when you exchange into Trunks and Goten on the brand new Dokkan Fest LR, where you'll be getting 4 links. Other than that, there aren't too many units you're going to be using. I mean, maybe the Int Super Saiyan Trunks and Goten with all the support from the brand new Dokkan Fest LR. But other than that, not so much. So we'll see how they fare without all the those links active. They do, of course, have Key plus 5, but can randomly get up to Key plus 10 at the beginning of turn. Which, I mean, we do have a fair amount of Key, and the fact that we get so much is also quite handy considering we don't have many links active. I do also have Broly on the team, purely so they can have an extreme class ally next to them. I still think Int Margin Vegeta is going to EZA because of this. It just makes sense. It might not happen yet, but I think it does make sense. Again, the same reason why we all thought LR Vegeta and Trunks was going to EZA, because of Vegeta's part of his passive where he was buffing Trunks units from the Strength Blue Boys. So we are getting the extra 200% attack, 100% defense, and the 27 crit chance when there's an extreme class ally attacking in the same turn. That is also why Broly is here, so I can also trigger that. So they are on a 481k attack stat, 312k defense. They are also getting 250 attack and defense at the start of turn, and do have a base 50% chance to dodge. And then when we're attacking with 12 or more key, which we're obviously going to be doing because we've got 24 key now, that's another 200% attack and defense. 962 on attack is pretty solid, and also a high chance, a 50% chance of attack of 100%. And then because we are now attacking with 18 or more key, we get another 100% attack and a 50% chance to crit, on top of the 27% chance we've got for having an extreme class ally. So altogether right now, that's 77% chance. 26.7 mil is pretty solid. They do have type advantage right now, so they are going to be doing good damage. With the amount of crit chance they have, and there's the dodge, I know 26 mil, which kind of seems wild to say, isn't the highest amount we've seen recently, but 27 million with the amount of crit chance that Goten and Trunks have, they're still doing a fair bit of damage because of all that crit chance build up. And also, I know they're a Super EZA, so of course their SA effects are untouched, but don't forget on 18 key, they are raising defense by 30% for 1 turn, and they do also have a 50% chance of the super attack transforming, and attack and defense will be greatly raised by 50% for 1 turn. And then of course the power will increase more if super attack level reaches 20. And then the exact same thing is applied on the 12 key super attack. However, instead of greatly raising attack and defense, defense will be reduced for 1 turn, not sure by how much. And the same thing applies with power will increase if super attack reaches level 20. So do remember that while using these two, that they do have that kind of gimmicky trait attached to their SA effects. The 18 key one's actually pretty solid. It's the 12 key one you do have to watch out for. So do pay attention of how many additionals you end up getting, even though I didn't get any, which is actually not bad for us. Then for every super attack performed, they do get a 77% attack and defense up to 200%. So that's pretty much done within 3 super attacks. So we're already 1 down. Then when there are 3 or more youth category allies on the team, Trunks and Goten will change key spheres strength to AGL. All allies chance to crit by 10%. That AGL orb changing is going to help again, especially with the lack of key links or the lack of links they do have active. But considering we've got the key of +5 and then the random roll up to potentially 10, I don't think the orb changing is necessarily needed. It's not a necessity for them, which I quite like. Same with the support. Sure, it would be nice to have 10% crit chance on all allies, 100%. Who doesn't want allies getting buffed, whether that's damage reduction, Dodge, attack and defense, key, crit chance, but it's not a necessity for Trunks and Goten. So even though I don't have any other youth category units on the team aside from Trunks and Goten, my youth units aren't that great. I mean, I have like a couple good ones, but to run the best team possible, not so much. But it's not a necessity. You know, if you want the support and you want the orb changing, sure, you can get it by doing this quite restrictive part of their passive, but it's not needed for them. Then if you have 3 or more hybrid Saiyan category allies on the team, which of course I do not have, you will also have changes key spheres from tech to rainbow, and all allies 10% crit chance again. So if you manage to somehow make a team with 3 or more youth and hybrid Saiyan category units on the team, which I say somehow, if you have all of them, it's not overly difficult. Would it be the best team in the world? Probably not, but there definitely are options. You have even more orb changing, which is great. All allies will get even more crit chance, which is great. However, it's not a necessity for Trunks and Goten to perform better, which is why I like it. It's nice to have, it's good, it's great support. You know, 20% crit chance on allies so they can do more damage, especially units that have more crit build up. You know, you're nearing even more crit build up and maybe even potentially guaranteed crit. And the orb changing can be quite handy, not just for Trunks and Goten, but other units. But it's not needed for them to be better. It'd be different if attack and defense was locked behind those strict conditions. It would be different if dodge chance was locked behind strict conditions. Does that make sense? So I'm quite happy with those, even though I'm not triggering any of them. Let's transform Broly though. And then when all allies attacking in the same turn are superclass, which of course with Broly here, and if they do EZA int margin Vegeta, he's going to have to be floating, otherwise you're not going to get this all the time. Trunks and Goten will get 150 attack and defense and a 27% chance to dodge. So essentially, it's a very small and minor trade-off. If you have a full superclass rotation, you get 150 attack and defense, whereas the extreme class ally gives you 200% attack, so an extra 50% attack, but then 50% less defense at 100%, and then the crit chance instead of the dodge chance. So it's basically, what do you need more in the moment? What do you consider more important? Do you want to do more damage, or do you want more defense? Do you want more dodge, or do you want more crit? Of course, it would be entirely up to you in that moment. But in terms of getting more dodge, I can see most of the time having a full rotation of superclass allies will definitely be the way to go, because who wouldn't want a total of, what, 77% dodge chance? I might have said dodge chance on the extreme class ally portion. That's crit chance. But I know all in all, a lot of you would probably prefer having the extra dodge chance over crit, just because who doesn't want 77% dodge chance over 77% chance to crit? It's a bit more important, it's a bit more useful, it's a bit more of a necessity, especially with how hard enemies are hitting nowadays. So I can definitely see that being a thing. But, you know, seeing how much damage they're putting out with the extreme class ally, you know, we need to gauge how much damage they can do overall at their very strongest. So I think what I might do is, I might rotate Broly off next time he appears. Even though I do need him in slot 1, I still might rotate him off. 28.2, solid again, especially with the amount of crit chance they do have right now. That's 77%. Additional? No additional. I mean, that's only their second super attack. They still need to super attack one more time to build up their full 200% attack and defense. I'm really surprised I haven't got a single additional super of them. I know they have absolutely no additionals in their passive, but surely in terms of what I've given them, actually maybe not. Especially with how their 12 key SA effect functions. Do I have any additional on them? I do. I have 11, and I haven't managed to trigger the hidden potential system once. That's a little bit crazy to me. Now, I am going to use an item. The reason why I'm going to use an item is not because we necessarily need to. I say that we don't need to whatsoever. The reason why is because I'm going to do less damage with the SSJ4s rather than actually like transform them. I'm also purposely avoiding an 18 key super attack with Gogeta, and of course I could have fused Vegeta into Super Gogeta. The reason why I did that was just so we can draw out the video a little bit longer. I don't want to kill Zamasu too quickly, which I'm not gonna lie, with Gogeta and the SSJ4s fused, you can do pretty quickly. So I do kind of want to avoid that, especially with the Super Gogeta support, because I want Trunks and Goten to get their last super attack to get the full 200% attack and defense. Then also on top of that, I do also want to get a full rotation with superclass units to see how much damage they're putting out without the full 200%. Simple maths, they're going to have 50% less, but then they are going to have 50% more defense and a 77% chance more dodge. Even though so far, I think, to be fair, considering they only have 50% chance to dodge, because I haven't given them no dodge in their hidden potential system, which I probably should once I put skill orbs onto them. That would be a lot more handy. Then it brings variety to the rotations you want to be running. You know, you can run the all super class or you can run the all extreme class while still having extra dodge. It won't be a lot because it's only from skill orbs or potentially the hidden potential system, but you know, definitely makes it a better scenario. But I just want to see how they perform without that stuff. Okay, that's fine. Again, I mean, I can't actually use a Whis here. See, look, they don't even link with Goku whatsoever. Now, I know this is completely counterproductive to that, but I think I may use the Vegito active skill. Especially because the AoEs as well. I mean, I say the AoEs, not the AoEs. Especially because of the potential super attack. And then also Broly not being in slot 1. So I'd rather draw as many attacks away from him as we possibly can. We must have got a low roll on the key because we don't even have over that anymore. We're actually struggling for key with them two right now. Damn. I must have been getting lucky with the high rolls for their random amount of key they do get. Damn. I mean, that means we're going to guaranteed get our defense reduced for the turn once they super attack on the 12 key super attack. I mean, now I'm definitely glad I used the Vegito active skill. Definitely glad I used that. So, I mean, the downside is showing, you know, the orb changing is very handy, especially if you're not getting the high rolls on the amount of key they have. And as we've already pointed out, their link skills aren't the best unless you are running them with the Super Saiyan Trunks and Goten that exchange from the brand new Dokkan Fest LR. Then you're kind of chilling because they got about 4 links active. Other than that, I said outside of the EZA Super Saiyan Trunks and Goten, who, as I said, might have a little bit of resurgence because of this new team and the new Gohan, Trunks, and Goten with their support. You don't really have no unit to really link the Super EZA with, if we're being completely realistic. Not to mention as well, if you don't get a high roll on the key, you know, to get the orb changing, which is obviously there to help them out. Sure, there's also the support, which is great. But then when you look at the orb changing, which would help them out a ton here. If you look at youth category units, which again is mainly being led by the brand new Dokkan Fest LR. You've got Path to Power Kid Goku. Cool. The Carnival LR SSJ2 Gohan. You've got Gotenks. Again, maybe Super EZA SSJ2 Gohan could be an option. I'm not overly sure. I'm not gonna lie. I think we're gonna die. That's only the first AoE, isn't it? Is it the first AoE? I know Trunks and Goten dodged the AoE. No, okay, we're good. Okay. I was gonna say we're dead. Then you got OG Dragon Ball Kid Goku. And that's kind of about it. Then if you're sitting in a scenario like I am, where you don't have Dragon Ball Kid Goku, you don't have Gotenks, you only have a couple options, and I don't have the new Dokkan Fest LR, so I don't really have a place to run all these units to trigger that part of their passive, the youth units. And then the same can kind of be said for Hybrid Saiyans, which, I mean, again, the new Dokkan Fest LR kind of includes both of them because of the Trunks and Goten portion giving youth. So that's great, because they're a very good unit. Carnival LRSSJ2 Gohan provides both, which is also great. Gotenks provides both, which is also great. But then again, you kind of just run out of options again pretty quickly. So those options are even more limited. I mean, maybe, just maybe you could get away with Beast. I'm not overly sure. He's only recently come out the top 10. But if you're like me, and again, you're missing quite a few of those options, aside from the SSJ2 Carnival LR Gohan, I don't really have an option to trigger the Hybrid Saiyans support. So it's a bit like, well, what do I do there then? What do I do? What do you want from me? How do I solve this? Do you know, I'm actually going to... Do I fuse... I think I'm going to fuse... No. Actually, no, we're fine. I was going to say maybe I fuse them so we get some healing, but we've got the Vegeta to fuse into Gogeta next turn. Okay, so now we have a full rotation of superclass units, which does mean Trunks and Goten do have less attack. So they have the 150 attack and defense rather than 200% attack, 100% defense. So they are a bit defensively better. And that does also include the 27% chance to dodge, taking them up to 77% rather than having the 27% chance to crit. So also, let's pop the Gogeta active skill. Let's get that support going for everyone. For everyone! We need to hope that I don't actually kill here. That would be really good. Now, what are they looking at? So they're on a 1.67 million attack stat. That's also fully built up. They do have 1.235 milli defense as well. And that is because of Gogeta's amazing support. I'm hoping Vegeto's okay without his active skill active. He does have the Gogeta support, but not his ridiculous active skill. So I'm hoping the AoE doesn't catch him. There's the 77% chance to dodge. Okay, Vegeta's chilling. Vegeta's fine. That's good. There's a counter for you. Just why not? Again, I'm hoping Gogeta doesn't kill. I mean, to be fair, we've barely stacked. When did you think you would see Gogeta do about a 14 million attack stat? Probably never. Probably never. So that actually works out pretty well for me. It means we're not going to do too much damage. So overall, technically, without the Gogeta active skill, Trunks and Goten would be doing a little bit less damage this turn. Having the superclass allies all in the same turn basically give them a bit more defensive coverage, where of course having the extreme class ally gives you a bit more damage output. Again, it just kind of all depends in the scenario what you want to do, what you need and what you want. However, I do see a lot of people going for the superclass rotation. Sure, 61 mil with the Gogeta support. Are we good? What? Jesus Christ. Woohoo! 61 mil. We must have got the attack and defense being greatly raised for one turn. We must have got the super attack transformation on that. 61 mil. That is fully built up. That is with Gogeta's support. That is, funny enough, with a 50% little extra attack. And they pulled out 61 mil. Fair play. Fair play. Overall, I think they're a very good EZA. I think they're very solid. They work really well with the brand new Dokkan Fest LR. Downside being is their link set, especially if you don't have the new Dokkan Fest LR. Their link set is even more restrictive and you don't really have units to run them around. They can still work pretty well. I think there's a slot 3 unit kind of out the way with all of their dodge chance. I think they can be a good slot 3 option in difficult content, especially with the dodge or die, especially if you also give them a bit more of a dodge build with skill orbs and the hidden potential system in general. But overall, I think they're pretty good. As I said, I think their best bet is, of course, running on the new Dokkan Fest LR. But considering I don't have them, we had to make do and run them here. But overall, they are pretty good. And you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments of Super EZA, Trunks, and Goten. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a great day, and peace.